Welcome back to Pathview Networks. Today's ticket has been escalated after users across multiple branch offices reported they can no longer access resources hosted in the data center. Looking at our topology, we can already see that data center 1, router 1 is offline. However, this network was designed with redundancy, so a simple router failure shouldn't interrupt service. Let's verify what our users are actually experiencing before we make any assumptions. Before we start, you'll notice our data center technician uses static IP address. In many enterprise environments, administrators use static IPs so they remain available for troubleshooting during DHCP or gateway related issues. So we'll take a look at our data center tech, Michael Shade's computer, and see what we can find out. So first, let's verify the workstation's network configuration. So we'll run an IP config and see what we can get. Everything looks correct. The workstation has the expected IP address, default gateway, and DNS server. So we'll ping 10.10.10.1. Everything looks good. We have connectivity to our local gateway. So what we'll go ahead and do now is let's ping 8.8.8.8 and verify if we have internet connectivity. Okay, good. So we have internet connectivity. So let's go ahead and ping the DHCP server at 10.10.30.11 and see what we get. Hmm, that's interesting. Let's go ahead and ping the DNS at 10.10.30.12. Okay, our DNS server is also unreachable. So we'll ping google.com and see what we get. Okay, so name resolution is failing as well. At this point, we know our workstation can reach the gateway and the internet, but we cannot reach our internal servers. So let's continue to narrow down the problem. All right, so we're in switch 1 and we'll run a show VLAN brief so we can verify the VLANs exist and our ports are assigned correctly. Okay, so far so good with the VLANs. We have VLAN 10, 20, 30, 40, and 70. So the servers are obviously on VLAN 30, the server VLAN. So this looks good. So let's move on and we'll check the port status to see what we find out. So we run a show interface status. Okay, the ports look good. Everything looks good here. We see the DHCP server and DNS server assigned to the correct ports. So now let's verify the trunk links are carrying all the required VLANs. So we'll run a show interfaces trunk. Okay, native VLANs are correct. All the trunks, excuse me, all the VLANs look allowed. Everything looks good from switch 1. So the configuration looks good on switch 1. This is where the servers are connected. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at switch 2 and see what we can find out there. Okay, so we're in switch 2. So what we'll do is run show interface trunk and take a look at the configurations there. All right, so the trunk configuration on switch 2 is looking good. Native VLAN looks good. All the VLANs are being allowed, especially the server VLAN, VLAN 30. So we're looking good. All right, so the switch configurations are looking good. The VLANs are being allowed and everything is all right. So router 1 is down. So now we need to take a look at router 2 to see how it's handling the gateway for VLAN 30. Okay, so we're in router 2 and we're going to run a show IP interface brief. so we can take a look at the sub interfaces on the router. Okay, so now we see the sub interface .30 on gig 0/0/1 is up. So now we'll take a look at the HSRP status and we'll run a show standby brief. Okay, so we see router 2 is the active router for all the VLANs. But look at this. VLAN 30 isn't using the expected HSRP group and it has the wrong virtual IP. So since router 1 is offline, router 2 should have the correct gateway responsibilities for the server VLAN. So because the standby group and virtual IP are incorrect, the devices in the VLAN have lost their default gateway. So we'll do a show run pipe begin gig interface 0/0/1.30. So we'll just take a look at the interface configuration. And there we see the virtual IP is configured incorrectly and the HSRP group. So what we'll do now is go ahead and correct that. So we'll do a config T and we'll get into the sub interface .30. And what we'll do is remove the standby 31 IP 10.10.30.3 command. So we'll just put a no, we'll copy that, paste that there, so we can run the correct command. So now we'll configure the correct group. So we'll do a standby 30 and then the correct gateway, which will be IP 10.10.30.1. Then we'll also configure the group's preempt. So standby 30 and preempt. Also, if you didn't know, preempt is for when the router 1 comes back online, it takes back over as the active router. So router 2 will never stay the active router unless router 1 is down. All right, so let's check the sub interface to verify that the configuration is correct. Okay, .30 looks good. Gateway, the virtual IP is good, and the preempt is good. Now let's check the HSRP status. So we'll run a show standby brief and see how everything is looking now. Okay, so the router is still calculating the HSRP for group 30, which is VLAN 30. So we just give it a moment. And there we have it. So as we can see, the standby state is changed to active. Okay, so what we do now is save our config on router 2, and we'll head back over to Michael Shea's computer and see if that's fixed the issue. So we'll go ahead and ping the DHCP server at 10.10.30.11, and that's looking good. So then we'll go ahead and ping the DNS server at 10.10.30.12, and that's looking good. So now we'll go ahead and ping google.com, and that's good as well. So DNS is working again, and the network has been restored. So the root cause of today's outage wasn't because router 1 was down. This enterprise was designed with redundancy, but redundancy only works when it's configured correctly. So after correcting the HSRP group and virtual IP on router 2, connectivity to the server VLAN was restored. Users are now once again able to access critical network services. Thanks for watching Pathview Networks. If you enjoyed today's troubleshooting video, let me know in the comments what your next troubleshooting step would have been after discovering router 1 was offline. If this video helped you better understand enterprise troubleshooting, subscribe and I'll see you in the next ticket. Thank you.